Yo, you guys, this is Blacklist of the Abyss, and you're watching my review for Hunter x Hunter episode 121. And in this episode, we see Killua. He's literally charging himself. All right, he doesn't have his finger in an electrical socket, but he's holding one of these electrical wires and he's charging himself so he can use Godspeed again. All right, and he says that after he's done, he's gonna go back to where Gon is, and he tells Meglione, "You go to where Knuckle is." Now, as far as Gon goes, Pouf was going to kill him. Alright, but Gon actually Pouf thought he could take out Gon without Gon like realizing that he was there, and he would be able to take him out quick and easy. But Gon actually did notice that he was there, and if Pouf had moved a couple more steps, Gon would have killed Komugi. So Pito had to stop him, saying, "No, Pouf, no. He knows you're there. He's about to kill Komugi. All right, I need you to calm down, not do anything. Don't think of doing it for me. Don't think of doing it for her. Think of doing it for the king. All right, this is for the king's sake. All right." So what Pouf does is he pretends to leave things to Pito, when in reality he's going to try and use his wing scales in order to control Gon. But Gon figures that out. He catches him and tells him, "No, no, no, you're not going to move from there, all right?" So when I saw that, I thought, oh well, Poof's just going to separate himself into one of those smaller pieces of himself, I guess, one of those smaller clones, and then try to get to Gon that way. But he didn't actually do that. We saw in the preview that he does in fact end up doing that, but he didn't do it this episode like I thought he was. He didn't do it right away. Instead, what he decided to do was try and figure out what exactly happened while he was trapped, because he noticed all of Pito's development in like these last 5 minutes. it's Maybe it's been more than 5 minutes now, but whatever. He noticed all Pito's development ever since Dragon Dive hit, so he's interested in finding out what happened because of that. But also, he wants Pito to drop him some hints on where Miram is. That way, he can go there and help him out. You know, it's their duty to help the king, so and protect him. So yeah, but yeah, that's essentially what happens with those two parts of the episode. The rest is Yuppie and Morel and Knuckle, stuff with them, alright? We see that Yuppie can now officially control his explosions and his rage, okay? And he ends up transforming into like a centaur, pretty much. A centaur with a lance and like this giant head on his shoulder. It was weird. It was freaking, he has so many freaking weird looking transformations. It's weird. And while he was transforming, the narrator mentioned that Yuppie, well, let me put it this way. Yuppie, there was a point in the episode where Yuppie was mentioning how he could let his rage take over, but still control it. He would learn to create while at the same time destroy. He was saying things like that. He was saying things that were really contradictory. So the narrator says that Yuppie, he hadn't actually realized why it was he could have two contradictory emotions, why he could do two contradictory things simultaneously. He hadn't actually realized what his situation was at the time, which I'm assuming both of those things are referring to what happens towards the end of the episode when Yuppie kind of evolves. It's how his feelings change, how he himself changes, and how his feelings towards Knuckle and Morel change. I'm assuming that's what it has to do with, but if not, then we'll probably find out later. The Yuppie that we have now, he's just going after the smoke soldiers, after Deep Purple, and he's just taking them all out. We learned from the narrator that if Yuppie keeps using Nen the way he is, then he'll fall victim to APR in like 3.5 minutes or something like that. His Nen's going to be sealed, and from then on, it's going to be easy to beat him because he can't do anything. Well, I mean, he can, but he can't use Nen, that would make it a lot easier. But before those 3.5 minutes are up, obviously he destroys all the clones, and with all his clones gone, things aren't really looking too good for Morel. He's already like half dead. He can't move. It's like he can barely breathe. He is not doing well at all. All right, and we learned that as Yuppie was walking over to Morel, he's judging and evaluating Morel. All right, we learned from the narrator that the fight, this huge fight that Yuppie's been having with Knuckle and with Shoot, then Knuckle and Morel, Khalil, he's learned from all these fights. He's evolved. Right? He's legitimately evolved to the point where he's not the simple-minded guy he was before, back when he was still sitting on the stairs. He's evolved beyond that now. So he was able to look at Morel and evaluate him, and he actually showed some respect towards Morel. He's like, I'm so far above you guys, but you guys are able to do all this to me and push me this far and still not give up, and it's impressive. It's so he essentially acknowledged Morel and the others. All right, but just because he does that doesn't mean he's going to let him live, though. He just can't do that. But because they're threats to the king. But Meliorone ends up saving him. Yuppie had transformed one of his arms into a blade, and he swung down at Morel, and he did catch him a little bit. But Meliorone got him with God's accomplice and pulled him out of there, so he wasn't just like legit killed. All right, and Yuppie, he's able to almost completely deduce what Meliorane's ability is, which is impressive actually. That's like some Wolfen crap right there. Like you can tell now he's definitely evolved. Like if you couldn't tell before, now you can. All right, so he's able to completely, not completely, almost completely. He believes that the ability is to let people turn invisible, which is not the case. It's to let them disappear from you. It literally erases their existence pretty much. As far as you're concerned, they don't exist. You have your memories of them, but you can't feel them. It's like you guys know. You guys know already. So he's right, but not really. He is invisible to him, but it's more than just that. But he's still able to deduce that much, which is impressive for him. He's evolved now. But even though Morel is invisible, his blood dripping on the ground is not. So there's a blood trail, and he's just following the blood trail to Morel. And Knuckles been sitting there the whole time hiding, and he's like, nah, okay, this isn't good. I can't let Morel die. So he comes out and he tries to talk to Yuppie, and he tries to get Yuppie to spare Morel and to fight him instead. And he's like, no, no. But I will think about sparing him and fighting you instead if you get rid of this thing over my shoulder. Get rid of APR. All right. And clearly that's a stupid freaking idea. All right. Clearly that is a stupid freaking idea. All right. And Meliorone, he let go of Morel so that Morel could be perceived by Yuppie again, so that Morel could go and talk some sense to Knuckle, but he didn't listen. It's like this blew my mind. My jaw dropped when I saw this. He just I couldn't believe it. I seriously couldn't believe it. I mean, Jesus. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, most of us, the greater majority of us, have not been in a position where we have to choose between saving one person who's close to us and saving a bunch of people that we don't know. All right. The greater majority of us have not been in a position like that. All right. But still, the Chimera Ants are a threat to humanity, man. They're legit a threat to humanity. And you're going to risk the extinction of the human race to save one guy who will die anyway if you let this guy live. I don't know. It's just it doesn't make any sense. I mean, he was acting purely off of emotion, obviously. They can't. Meliorone said it best. They can't beat Yuppie anymore. There's no way to beat him anymore. They just can't do it. Like what can they do? They had him 3.5 minutes. That's all. And it's not like only 2 seconds have gone by. Like there had to have been at least a minute that went by, maybe even 2. Knuckle could have tried to, like, I don't know, talk to him for like another minute or so. Like maybe just, I don't know, just keep him busy, keep him talking, saying, hey, come on, like don't make me choose between that and him or something like that. I don't know, something to keep him talking for another minute. I mean, granted, UP figured out that APR and those numbers going up were the reason why they were running away. So it's possible for him to do. I'm sure he knew that time was one of the possible reasons, but because I mean, it's not like that's the only thing that APR could have done, could have been like, and even if it is dependent solely on time, like he still doesn't know what it does. And if he's as cocky as I think he is, and thinking that nothing they can do will hurt him anyway, like he could have at least tried. Like if UP called him out on it, then all right, fine. But he didn't even try. Like, and the worst part about it is that after he does let APR down and UP leaves because UP decides to let them live. All right, so he's again a change that he had. Before he was talking about, even though I respect you, I can't let you live. But now he decides to let them live anyway, which is like due to respect, due to the fact that after fighting him, he was actually able to get a lot out of the battle and evolve a lot. He found the fight enjoyable, so another one could be good for him for just for like adrenaline plus evolving further to protect the king or something like that. But like, and either way it doesn't really matter. He let them live, all right, and he leaves. And Morel tries to get Knuckle to go after him, and he says, I don't see UP as a target that needs to be defeated anymore. And it's like, what? What? Because he let you live, you don't see him as a threat anymore? That makes no freaking sense. None. None at all whatsoever. He's a chimera ant. He's a threat to humanity. His king, the guy who he will listen to no matter what, wants to pretty much destroy humanity and dominate them and ruin all of your lives. UP will do whatever the king says. Oh, but he's not a threat. Nah, he'll destroy us all if he's ordered to, but he's not a threat. He's not a threat. The king will definitely order him to do it, but he's not a threat. He's not a threat. Like, come on, Knuckle, man. Knuckle. He, he just, I mean, well, did he forget the reason they went there in the first place? Because they knew about the selection and all that stuff. He knew what they were going to do to humanity. He knows what they're going to continue to try and do if they finish all of them off. Like if they finish if they finish off Knuckle and Morel and Gon and Clue and all of them, if they finish them off, they're going to continue their plans. Why would they stop? That was the original reason they went there in the first place. It's the reason why they're still there, because they want to stop. They want to defeat the Chimera and stop the selection, save the human race. But he doesn't see them as a threat anymore. It just doesn't make sense. Even if he was thinking purely on emotion, it still doesn't make sense. He's not a bad guy. He'll just kill us if he's ordered to. All right. So it makes him a soldier in the military, pretty much. All right. He's a God. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. How can he not see UP as a threat anymore? Whatever. I've been talking about this for way too long now. Whatever. Just moving on. Nove shows up. All right. Nove. Bald Nove. All right. With the voice of Ikuto Mikisugi. Bald Nove shows up. This dude's stressed out. This dude needs a freaking stress ball. All right. Seriously. All right. I commented that on Crunchyroll too. Nove needs a stress ball. But he shows up. He gets Morel to safety. He updates him on the situation, telling him that Netero got Miram to that place that they planned, the location that they wanted him to be at. So, according to them, even if the Royal Guard leaves now, they won't make it in time, which means I guess they have somehow predicted the exact amount of time that it will take for Netero to beat Miram. Whatever. Doesn't whatever. It's whatever. Whatever. Yeah, he takes Morel and he leaves. Right, that's pretty much what happens. That's it. Knuckle at the end of the episode says he's going to go to where Gon, Killua, Pitou, and Pouf are. Or he's going to go to where they are. Killua's not there yet, but he will be by the time they get there. So yeah, but that's it, you guys. In the preview, we see, like I mentioned before, Pouf splitting himself and like creating like a small clone. We see, we see Netero and Miram. Netero created that like golden Buddha or whatever it is that we see in the opening. So next episode should be interesting. But yeah, that's it for this one. There was great character development for Yuppie, but Knuckle, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't. It's just like Togashi's trying too hard to continue the arc and make it as long as possible and let Yuppie survive. It's just stupid. It's like a giant plot device. I don't know, whatever. The Knuckle the parts with Knuckle kind of bring the episode down from the stuff with Yuppie. I'll just give it a 7 out of 10 overall. Just end it there. I don't even know that. I'll just settle for that. Yeah, 7 out. This episode of Hunter x Hunter gets a 7 out of 10. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.